Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for coming to our side event. My name is Veronica Nduva, and I am the Principal Secretary for the State Department of Gender and Affirmative Action in the Ministry of Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action in the Republic of Kenya. And I'll be your moderator for today. I wish to welcome you, our dear participants. I wish to welcome all of you, dear participants, and thank you for showing great interest in Kenya's side event on accelerating women entrepreneurship through digital technology, overcoming traditional barriers. We really appreciate your presence in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that innovation is a powerful catalyst for political, social, and economic empowerment of women and the promotion of gender. ICT has been used to encompass technological innovation and convergence in information and communication, and has led in social interactions, economic and business practices, political engagements, education, health, leisure, and entertainment. At the global level, in 1995, we know that the UN, United Nations Commission on Science and Technology for Development, concluded that the information revolution appeared to be bypassing women, that information society literature was silent on gender issues, and that neither research nor practical projects in the information technology field had addressed the specific circumstances of women. Hence, the Beijing Declaration and Platform strategic objective on increase the participation and access of women to expression and decision making in and through the media and new technologies of communication. Ladies and gentlemen, as a country, the development of technology over the past few decades has had a significant impact on businesses. There is evidence in Kenya that entrepreneurship development based on innovation and technology benefits our country's economic growth. Many startup businesses are updating their business plans and implementing information systems with the idea of using electronic commerce. The government of Kenya is continuously improving the legal and policy environment and is currently looking into developing the policy and regulatory indicators that promote entrepreneurship for women and eliminate bottlenecks that hinder them from contributing meaningfully to the development of our country's GDP. Despite all the efforts, the benefits of ICT have been unevenly distributed within and between other countries in the so-called digital divide. This is reflected in the low numbers of women accessing and using ICT platforms. As we deliberate on the theme this year, we make a rallying call on all of us to address all aspects of the digital divide, that is the technological divide, the content divide, and the gender divide. Ladies and gentlemen, that said, allow me to invite our panelists to give highlights of the topic of discussion today, whose objectives include: 1, to showcase positive progress made in policies and legislative frameworks that help accelerate women entrepreneurship. 2, to discuss opportunities that promote women and girls' equality empowerment in the digital era. 3, highlight government's innovations in addressing barriers to access of finance through digital technology. And lastly, to demonstrate the role played by a sustained partnership with various stakeholders in the women empowerment ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable delegates, allow me to call our first speaker to give her remarks briefly. Ms. Aurelia Chepkurui Rono is my colleague. She's our Principal Secretary in the State Department for Parliamentary Affairs in Kenya. Ms. Rono is a doctorate student in Business Administration Finance. She holds a master's degree in Business Administration Finance, and she is a certified public accountant, an educationist, and a trainer with 15 years experience in financial and accounting matters. Aurelia is industrious, visionary, and performance-driven, and she is a youth and women motivator and a farmer. Allow me to welcome Ms. Aurelia. You have 5 minutes, Aurelia.
Thank you very much, PS. Allow me to start by letting us know that Kenya is the 7th largest economy in Africa, with a population of over 47 million. Out of these, 27.66 million are women, representing 50.31%. Women own and run more than 50% of all the informal businesses in Kenya, making them invaluable economic drivers. However, the big question is, are the Kenyan women going to be part of this new digital transformation? The Kenyan government has made several policies and legal framework interventions to address some of the challenges facing women in business and entrepreneurship. The first policy is Vision 2030, which was launched in 2008, which is a Kenya's premium policy document which set the stage for women economic empowerment by earmarking the establishment of women and youth-focused measures as flagship projects. They include Women Enterprise Fund, Youth Enterprise Development Fund, WESO Fund, Gender Mainstream Action Policy, which eventually gave rise to the 30% access to government procurement opportunities quotas for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. Collection and dissemination of gender disaggregated data. Two is the National Land Policy 2009, which called upon the government to put in place appropriate laws to ensure effective protection of women's rights to land and related resources. Repeal bad laws that discriminate against women in relation to land. Enforce existing laws that establish a clear legislative framework to protect the rights of women in issues of inheritance to land and land-based resources. Three is the Digital Economic Blueprint. Kenya launched the Digital Economic Blueprint in 2019, which focuses on digital government, digital business, infrastructure, innovation-driven entrepreneurship, digital skills, and values. National Policy on Gender and Development 2019, which commits to harnessing ICT as a tool for broader strategies and programs to create opportunities for empowerment of women and men, collecting and disseminating gender data on ICT access and use to inform policy and decision making, identify, promoting, and documenting good practices and lessons learned to bridge the gender gap in the use of ICT, promoting the inclusion of ICT and STEM education in mid-level tertiary institutions, and promoting the rollout of operational digital villages, that is ICT hubs and biashara centers, or we call it business centers, across the 47 counties to ensure access to ICT service by men and women. Women Enterprise Fund, which was established under the Government Financial Management Women Enterprise Fund Regulation 2007 to provide affordable and accessible credit to women entrepreneurs to start or expand their business enterprises and business support services. It has dispersed $211.29 million to over 2.3 million women, and to date, loan repayment rate stands at 98%. Women Enterprise Fund developed a financial product that's called the MINI, meaning treasured, to enable widows achieve a secure and enhanced income to improve their lives and their families. $282.258 million has been dispersed to 211 widow-led groups, benefiting 2398 widows. WESO Fund was established under the Public Finance Management Regulation 2014. We also have Youth Enterprise Development Fund, which was established under the same the regulation, Government Financial Management Youth Enterprise Development Fund 2007. We have Hustler Fund, which was established in December last year, where we have 15.75 million borrowers with 6.39 million repeat borrowers. $157.7 million dispersed with $7.9 million accounting for savings. $82.07 million prepaid as of Thursday, 9 March. We also have digital superhighway commitments by the new administration, which commits to ensure availability of universal broadband, automation of government service delivery, Africa Regional Hub and Software Development, and CONSA Technopolis. Areas of collaboration and partnership, e-commerce platforms, investors, and the government can collaborate to support women growth in the sector by collecting sex disaggregated data, leveraging platform financing, educating women on paid promotions, offering entrepreneurial trainings and capacity building opportunities, encouraging entry into high-value sectors, bridging the gap of access to digital and financial inclusion, implementing the policy commitments of the national policy and on gender and development, and implementing a street address system, one of the solution of business to customer logistical challenges. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PS. Aurelia has taken us through a lot of our frameworks and our digital interventions. She has highlighted the Women Enterprise Fund, which highlighted there, but we relaunched it March 2nd. It's now on a digital platform. By dialing a USSD code, the women at the grassroots can access that fund. And this will be a good segue to our next speaker, because Gambia has WEF, and in Kenya we have WEF. And I've been hearing a lot of feedback about Gambia and WEF, and Gambia and WEF, and this is a perfect opportunity to hear from Mrs. Fatou Kinte, Minister for Gender, Children and Social Welfare in the Republic of the Gambia. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for gracing us with your presence. Ms. Fatou Kinte has a wealth of experience working with the United Nations system in Gambia, government and civil society organization, where she's always promoted the gender agenda. She has successfully managed the gender program of the UNFPA Gambia program for over 9 years, during which she represented the UNFPA country in chairing the UN thematic group on gender. Ms. Fatou has also previously served as the Executive Director of the Women's Bureau, as well as the Health of Information, Education, Communication at the Gambia Family Planning Association, among many other notable capacities. During her time as Executive Director of the Women's Bureau, she led in the development and implementation of the first gender component of the UNFPA country program in the Gambia. In 2019, while bidding farewell to UNFPA and moving back to government, she was described by the UNFPA country representative as a mother to all, a great friend, an ardent advocate for the advancement of Gambian women, and an astute programmer. Fatou, they said, has always been a voice for the Gambian women. She holds a BA degree in Sociology, History from the University of Sierra Leone, and a Master of Science degree in Economics, Population Policies Programs for the University of Wales, Cardiff in UK. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our next panelist.
Thank you very much. The chairperson, first of all, I want to thank the government of Kenya for inviting us to serve in this panel discussion. I want to acknowledge the presence of the government delegation, as well as the delegation from Kenya and other countries present here in this panel discussion. The Women Enterprise Fund is a national flagship project developed as part of the NDP of the Gambia 2018-2021. It emanates from the commitment of the government of the Gambia to allocate funds for women entrepreneurs for them to realize their potential in order to increase and promote gender equity, equality, and women's empowerment for society's economic development. His Excellency President Adam Barrow of the Republic of the Gambia launched the project, the Women Enterprise Fund, in 2019 at national and regional levels. This initiative is part of efforts taken by for the empowerment of women through several legislative acts as well as vigorous efforts to ensure gender parity. The target for Women Enterprise Fund was 10,000 women, but now the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare has superseded the target, and so far the government has disbursed $65,720,000 to 619 women groups across the country since its establishment in 2020. This amount includes support from Central Bank of the Gambia. The Enterprise Fund is implemented through a group lending initiative. The Women Enterprise Fund is a national flagship project of the government of the Gambia. It emanates from the commitment of the government of the Gambia to ensure female entrepreneurs have access to finance to start a business or expand their businesses, ensure that women realize their full potential through employment creation and employability in order to increase and promote gender equity, equality, and women's empowerment for socio-economic development. They are structured established for the implementation of the WEF at both national and regional levels, guided by standard operational procedures. Firstly, regional committees receive application forms, assess and appraise them, and later recommend for approval to the board. The regional committees, chaired by the governors of the regions and the regional gender officers of the ministry, serve as secretary to the committees. The committee also includes representatives from the technical advisory committees, the National Women's Council, and persons with disabilities, the multidisciplinary facilitation teams at the regional level, among others. The board is responsible for approval of the rule. The project staff then oversee the implementation and monitoring of the project at all levels. It is part of the National Development Plan 2018-2021, an initiative of the government of His Excellency of the Republic of the Gambia, President Adama Barrow. The event was launched in 2019 at the national and regional levels, and a legal framework developed for it in 2020. It also serves as the official manual of the work. The target for the Women Enterprise Fund was 10,000 women by the end of December 2021. By that period, we have had 23,000 women, surpassing the target by 13,000. It is fully funded by the government of the Gambia. As a result of the achievements registered, the Central Bank of the Gambia released $60 million as loan from October 2022 to September 2024 at an interest of 2%. As of March this year, 2023, the fund has reached out to over 50,000 women across the country. Members are trained in financial literacy and entrepreneurship before the disbursement of the funds. This is followed by the routine coaching and mentorship by our regional gender officers across the country to ensure that women put the money into good use. In the context of the Gambia's transformation for digitalization, the WEF emanates from the effort for recognizing the importance of STEM for women and girls, which cannot be overemphasized. As a minister responsible for women, for children, affairs and social welfare, the family strengthening program of the ministry is a key example of efforts to ensure vulnerable families are given scholarships for their children. We have come to the realization that women and girls are particularly underrepresented in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM education, and consequently in STEM careers. This gender disparity is alarming, especially in STEM, as STEM careers are often referred to as the jobs of the future, driving innovation, social well-being, inclusive growth, and sustainable development. Without increased digital adoption and usage, girls will have fewer employment opportunities and will face additional barriers in the digital divide for women and girls needs tailored understanding and action for each of these barriers. Access to device calls for safety concerns. These are the factors that are almost universally listed as contributing to the gender digital divide. In order to be part of the digital knowledge economy, the call to bridge the gap and digital inclusion needs to be entrenched into mainstream policy framework to ensure continuity and sustainability. Digitalizing the web requires establishment of the Women Enterprise Fund, which is also already in place. Setting up of the Women Enterprise Fund regional committees, it is also in place. Capacity building of women groups in entrepreneurship and financial literacy, this will be enhanced. Capacity building in functional literacy and numeracy. This is important because the majority of the women are illiterate. Digital transformation, which includes an app for accessing information related to the Women Enterprise Fund, access to markets, and the list goes on. Access to market prices, as well as the marketing of their products. Development of standard operational procedures for the implementation of the Women Enterprise Fund. When all of this is done, women can connect with other SMEs, both locally and internationally, to grow and expand their businesses. When we go digital, it will contribute in a very big way towards the economic growth, improve the economic status of the women, and bridge the gender gap in technology and contribute towards the gender equity, equality, and the empowerment of women. We want to go digital simply because based on the pilot project that we've implemented, we've learned lessons, and now we want to consolidate on our gains and expand. That way we want to go digital. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. That was a good overview of digital empowerment in the Gambia. The reason I let it run for about 7 minutes was because we have a lot of parallels. We have the aspect of finance, I believe is very important for women who are accessing these funds. We also have the lending within the groups. We also have the gender officers, but in our case we call them the loan officers. I think at the end, if we have time, it would be good to hear how it is working out in terms of the processing of the forms. Kenya, in our endeavor to digitize, we are reducing the access time for the paper forms 45 days to instant on the phone. You access it and you are processed. So thank you so much for that, and we are happy that 2 countries in different parts of the continent are doing the same thing, targeting the same people with the same names. They say great minds think alike. So allow me to move on with our presentation, and I will request my next presenters to kindly keep time. I don't know if we have the clip ready. Thank you so much. So our next speaker is also my co-principal secretary. Umi Mohammed Bashir serves as a principal secretary for the State Department of Culture and Heritage. Umi is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, having practiced for 11 years. She has worked for UNDP Kenya and UNHCR in the Office of the Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa previously. She was also the CEO of a community-based organization called Women for Women Alliance, which advocates for economic empowerment of women in Wajir County, where she comes from. She is currently the Principal Secretary for the State Department of Culture and Heritage, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage in the Government of Kenya. You can all see that Umi is a cultural ambassador. She's well decked out, and before she starts off, we will play a clip showcasing one of the institutions that fall under her docket called Ushanga. Ushanga means beading. Thank you so much.
Established in 2017, Ushanga Kenya aims to create jobs and transform the living standards of the pastoralist women through commercialization of beadwork, which has otherwise been a traditional activity with little economic benefits to the communities. Using leather and beadwork, the women are transforming traditional ornaments and appeal to global markets. Ushanga Initiative Kenya is using USSD to revolutionize the way women trade. The platform enables them to upload products through digital cafes set up in their communities. So far, 140 cooperatives have registered in the platform, with 157,000 women under the Ushanga Initiative Kenya. With just a few clicks on their mobile phones, the world can access a wide range of Ushanga products, place orders, and receive real-time updates on their transactions. USSD makes it easy for women to conduct business from the comfort of their homes. The initiative's use of USSD is not only making trading more convenient, but is also empowering women to take control of their finances and become financially independent. Ushanga Initiative Kenya is proud to be at the forefront of this technological revolution, and we look forward to seeing how USSD will continue to transform the way we do business.
Honorable delegates from the President and the people of the Republic of Kenya, I am honored to be part of this delegation in honor of gallant women across the globe and to discuss the critical role technology plays in empowering women and girls. On this special day, we celebrate the milestone of women's empowerment and the critical roles women play in driving economic, social, and political growth. As the Principal Secretary for the State Department of Culture and Heritage in Kenya, I have witnessed firsthand how technology can be a powerful tool in improving the livelihoods of women and girls in marginalized communities. I am delighted to share the inspiring story of the Ushanga Kenya Initiative, a national government project created in 2017 that has successfully harnessed the empowerment of indigenous women from the marginalized communities of Kenya. The project seeks to preserve and protect the beading heritage and also empower the indigenous pastoralists, women through beadwork, Ushanga, by transforming and reengineering their art for a significant economic benefit, which has otherwise been a traditional activity with no significant financial benefit to the communities. Through mobilizing women into organized groups, cooperatives, training and capacity building workshops, the Ushanga Initiative has provided women with the skills and knowledge needed to succeed as entrepreneurs in the rapid changing digital space. Currently, Ushanga Kenya has registered 140 cooperatives with 157,000 membership in the targeted 7 counties. For the last 4 years, Ushanga Kenya has created digital solutions to create sustainable economic growth and development for indigenous women by harnessing bead art and marketing the products digitally by creating innovations that meet women's needs and promote gender equality. We rolled out a gender-responsive approach to innovation, technology, and digital education to increase the awareness of women and girls regarding advancements in digital technology that offer immense opportunities to address development issues, gender exclusion, inclusion, and economic marginalization in conjunction with skill development among rural women from indigenous communities. In that regard, Ushanga Kenya has introduced the unstructured USSD code *789*700# for the women to register, and through this their data is collected and stored for data safety and accessibility. Through the USSD, the products are now available in the wider markets and earn money, creating economic independence and financial stability for the women. Fellow delegates, the Ushanga Kenya Initiative through the State Department of Culture and Heritage in partnership with United Nations Population Fund, Anti-FGM Board, unveiled the Johari Bracelet Bead Initiative Social Economic Enterprise in 2021. The Johari Beads Initiative seeks to empower and create a sustainable livelihood for women from pastoral communities through beadwork, a key product called Johari and FGM bracelet. To let us unite in breaking barriers to create legacy that inspires our women not only to dream big but achieve big through digital prosperity. Our Twitter account at the State Department of Culture and Heritage is @PSHeritage. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. You saved us. You saved us 2 minutes. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the beautiful clip. We are proud of the beadwork that Ushanga does as a country. It is a global ambassador on its own, so thank you so much. We will move on with our program, and next we'll be hearing about financial inclusion through widows, savings and loan associations with Salah Thamini. And to take us through that discussion will be Heather Ibrahim Leathers. That's a tongue twister. Heather Ibrahim Leathers, founder of the Global Fund for Ibrahim Leathers, has raised millions of dollars towards the little known and overlooked root source of global poverty, widowhood. In addition to economically empowering nearly over 100,000 widows and their children in the developing world, Ms. Ibrahim Leathers has innovated a financial inclusion platform that is bringing banks to the world's poorest and most vulnerable. For her groundbreaking work in financial inclusion, the Egyptian American has been conferred the Business Council for Peace Women Forward Financial Catalyst Award in 2020 and the Acquisition International Excellence in Financial Innovation Award. Additionally, for her pioneering work on widowhood, Ms. Ibrahim Leathers has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Amazing. In March 2020, Ms. Ibrahim Leathers launched a global emergency response to address severe COVID-19 related food shortages, food insecurity, and various related repercussions, including human trafficking, by providing 6.5 million meals to food insecure widows and their families. Ms. Ibrahim Leathers' strategic advocacy resulted in the unanimous adoption of the world's first UN General Assembly resolution, which recognized the issue of widowhood and called for the global social protections for them. Because of the far-reaching impact that widowhood has on developing society and economies, Ms. Leathers has been acknowledged by the Egyptian government as successfully combating terrorism at its source by sustaining families. Ms. Ibrahim Leathers has published extensively on the inextricable link between inheritance rights, human rights, poverty, and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, and advises governments on mechanisms for financing development. Thank you so much. As a country, I have seen the impact of your program. We know there is an organization in Kenya called Widows Come Together, and you've partnered with them, and they are making a great impact on the lives of widows. So thank you so much.
Wonderful, thank you. I will run through as quickly as possible for time. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you to the Government of Kenya and the Women's Enterprise Fund for the opportunity to present to you today. Next slide, please. In fact, as we began our work in widowhood, we realized that widowhood is the root cause of some 12 SDGs that we are working to eradicate. For example, when a widow is disinherited, she immediately becomes impoverished, food insecure, unable to address the health and educational needs of her children, seeking child marriage as a solution. 5 of the SDGs we've just talked about within just one event of widowhood. One of the things that we ran into significantly was the issue of widows claiming that they didn't have access to capital. In fact, 70% when polled said that they needed access to capital and to decent work. Why were they not included? Next slide, please. Why were they not included? Well, 2 structural main reasons. The first was that they didn't have collateral to offer any of the microfinance or formal banking sector entities in order to access capital. And then, of course, the second is that they had been disinherited and did not have any male co-signer. In comes the WISALA, the Widows Savings and Loan Association, which we innovated a few years ago. Through the WISALA, widows are trained for 3 months on how to save, purchase shares, lend, underwrite loans, save, and register their organizations, and start micro enterprises. We also teach them digital banking. We have an app that allows them to enter their payments, their borrowings, and monitors all of their tracking. It's a digital ledger essentially we use called the Dream Save app. They're trained on all of this, And then when they're ready in approximately 3 months, we actually launch the bank. They provide 1/3 of the capital so that there's not only financial equity invested, but also sweat equity, and then Global Fund for Widows matches it 2-to-1, providing essentially the other 2/3 of the bank's capital. Through the Wisala, widows are immediately able to borrow the amount that they need to launch their micro-enterprise, and then they run their businesses. With the digital component that allows them to track their payments, it also allows for them to begin digital literacy, and so we train them on that digital literacy, and that's the primary benefit. There's a secondary benefit as well in that it allows us to track them and assign a credit score based on their experience. They can see their credit score, they're able to monitor it, it becomes a very valuable source of encouragement. But not only that, it also allows us to help them return into their rightful place in the formal sector. And finally, it allows them digital accessibility in order to be able to have the facility to access other social protections offered by all of the mechanisms that you've heard out of Kenya today. In partnership with Women's Enterprise Fund and in partnership with the Femini Fund and our implementing partner in Kenya, Come Together Widows and Orphans organization, we've been able to launch 115 microbanks in Kenya today. We're very proud of the results. In fact, if you jump a few slides back. One more? There you go. Yep, one more. Yep, change in income for widows 1 year after our intervention is a 2,000% increase in monthly salary. Their savings increase by 700%, and their access to food and nutrition increases materially between 56 and 400%. They're able to send their children to school, access medication, and lift themselves out of poverty. In addition, I'll jump to the final slide with the UN. We did work with the government of Kenya as well as the Africa group. We met with over 100 countries during the pandemic in order to socialize the issue of widowhood, resulting in a unanimous adoption of the Widowhood Resolution to bring critical awareness and resources and to begin national action plans and awareness on this issue. I'm happy to report that yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of our resolution, and I want to thank the government of Kenya for taking the lead on that and operationalizing it already. Thank you for that. Kenya has also taken major steps in operationalizing many other laws. In fact, they've already changed 6 laws. You have already changed 6 laws in Kenya protecting widows, and you are inspiring the rest of the continent. So thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations.
Perfect, that's our time, and really thank you so much. And to just show you the support we have from the legislation, I wish to ask the women parliamentarians who are with us today to just wave up front, kindly just wave. So all these women parliamentarians joining us, they are responsible for the legislation, and we have also a representative from Judiciary, Justice Jessie Lesit, the Chief Registrar, all celebrated senior leaders in the judiciary. So really demonstrates our commitment. Thank you so much for that, and it is really a noble cause. Widows is a noble cause. I will move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker, we all talk about male inclusion, so we like to exemplify that. So our next speaker will include a male panelist. Have with us Mr. Agri David Ibenge, Mr. David, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development in our neighboring Republic of Uganda. He served at the Office of the Prime Minister Uganda as Undersecretary for 4 years, as Undersecretary for Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiques for a year, and Undersecretary, Ministry of Education and Sports for 6 years, and has served in various capacities at the same ministry. Thank you so much, Mr. David, for joining us, and please proceed to your topic. Mr. David will talk to us about leveraging on the Innovation Hub to promote women economic empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed an honor for me to be part of this panel and to represent all the men out there. It takes a lot of courage. To share a panel as the only male with these accomplished ladies. But I will be sharing some of the lessons from Uganda on leveraging digital technology in women or for women economic empowerment. Uganda's Vision 2040 and the third National Development Plan set out the priority interventions for developing a comprehensive operational framework for science, technology and innovation to ensure women's full and effective participation in the digital economy, access to market and free trade as stipulated in the SDGs, SDG 5 and the Africa Union Agenda 2063. Government of Uganda has developed policies to address individual, institutional and social barriers that still impact on women, making it difficult for them to attain the highest level of economic empowerment in a digital economy. Several of these include the most significant one, I should say, is democratization of education by providing universal education from primary, secondary, post-primary, and affirmative action at higher education level in Uganda, with emphasis on access and retention of the girl child. Secondly, is policy commitment to integrate aspects of gender, youth, persons with disabilities and marginalized groups in ICT programs and interventions within the 2014 National ICT Policy, including the implementation of special ICT training programs for women, youth, and persons with disabilities to utilize their ICT abilities to provide opportunities for improvement in the small and medium-term enterprises and to reduce their financial dependency, digital illiteracy, unemployment, and lack of entrepreneurial ability or skills to start or support their businesses. With support from the African Development Bank, Uganda is one of the 38 African countries that are implementing the 50 million African Women Speak digital networking project that provides women with access to information on financial and non-financial services. And to date, over 5,000 women entrepreneurs have been enrolled. Of course, the other is collaboration with telephone companies to increase women's usage and access to digital platforms for agricultural services, for instance, extension services, market information, traceability of products, crop insurance, linkage to agricultural inputs, and all these platforms target both men and women, but women constitute 40% of the beneficiaries. Additionally, we have been working with MTN Uganda, which is a telecom company, the United Nations Capital Development Fund, to digitalize village saving and loan associations. And through these, it has been possible to capture all the manual financial records that were on paper in the past, and it has led to rapid acceleration of financial inclusion in Uganda. Government has encouraged digitalization of ministries through monitoring systems. For instance, we have the National Gender-Based Violence Data to capture administrative data for case management of incidents and planning, as well as the National Identification and Registration Authority, where we capture death and birth information, focusing also on tracking economic empowerment of people. There are other government programs like the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program under Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, we are now rolling out a World Bank grant of 217 million United States dollars that will see women enterprises supported, growing women entrepreneurs who are involved in business access, credit financing on very friendly terms, as well as now the parish development model with focus at parish level through establishment of e-centers to increase access to ICT as well as bridging the gap in information, health education, market and government programs. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, the ministry has a running collaboration with the Uganda Industrial Research Institute, through which women-owned startups are provided business incubation services, and these include access to business standards and certification services, packaging, marketing and mentorship, and over 1,000 women have benefited from this arrangement. Overall, it's clear that the gains of innovation in science and technology and education will contribute to the achievement of the aspiration of our countries, the African continent, as well as the global community. Under the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Area, women have the opportunity to enhance their business skills, trade, including e-commerce, for their economic empowerment. I thank you, Chair, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for those outlines. We appreciate and recognize the role and the strides that our neighboring country has taken in matters gender. I know we've heard a lot about what you've talked about the business incubation and also digitizing the manual financial records that is really empowering. And I think one of the things that our panelists did not mention, but I look forward to learning more about is Uganda has really managed to put in place gender responsive budgeting. They are really a continent leader, so it means that we have a lot we can learn from, and I hope as we listen to this, we are identifying opportunities for further learning and further engagement. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is another cultural ambassador, Honorable Lea Sankaire, seated here. Honorable Sankaire is really from the community that we saw there on Ushanga. And she's a trailblazer. She's leading, that is a community that has had to address a lot of challenges and is succeeding. Honorable Lea Sankaire is the County Women Member of National Assembly, Kajiado County, and a member of the Parliamentary Committee on Labor and Diaspora Affairs. Honorable Sankaire holds a bachelor's degree in project planning and management from the University of Nairobi. She is a founder of the Maasai Women Against Violence and Development Organization and a program coordinator on family mediation and conciliation dealing with women human rights, land rights, and women economic empowerment. Honorable Lea is a member of the Iselekan Collective Action Network, ICAN, a motivational speaker for girls in primary and secondary schools around Kajiado County, addressing issues of early pregnancy, FGM, career development, menstrual hygiene, and provision of sanitary towels. She also links up bright girls from vulnerable backgrounds to sponsorship and scholarship opportunities. Yeah, let's give her a round of applause. Will discuss with us opportunities that promote women and girls equality and empowerment in the digital era. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Distinguished panelists and esteemed delegates, I will be discussing the opportunities that promote women and girls equality and empowerment in the digital era, that is in the Kenyan context. I'll go straight to the point for the interest of time, that digital technology has helped women in Kenya to engage in entrepreneurship through providing innovative solutions that help women entrepreneurs to access capital such as mobile money, crowdfunding, good example of an online lending platform in Kenya is the M-Pesa, a mobile money transfer service that has enabled women to access loans and other financial services that were previously unavailable to them. This has helped in the bridging the gender gap in access to finance and has enabled women to start and grow their own businesses successfully. In facilitating access to relevant skills and knowledge, we have digital platforms such as SheLeads Africa and SOMO, providing mentorship, training, and resources to women entrepreneurs. In connecting women with peers, mentors, and investors locally and globally, platforms such as Women in Business Network and the Kenya Women Entrepreneurship Network offers a supportive community of women entrepreneurs to connect, share experience, and learn from each other. Kenya has established institutions that promote entrepreneurship and innovation. Among them, we have the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. This is the government ministry responsible for promoting entrepreneurship and industrialization in Kenya. The ministry's website provides information on policies, regulations, and initiatives related to entrepreneurship and digital technology. We have the Kenya Copyright Board. It is also a government agency responsible for protecting and promoting copyright and related rights in Kenya. The Kenya Copyright Board website provides information on copyright laws and regulations that apply to digital technology and entrepreneurship. We have the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This is a private sector organization which provides a range of services to its members, including business networking, advocacy, capacity building, and market development. The Chamber also plays a key role in promoting entrepreneurship in Kenya by providing support to entrepreneurs through training, mentorship, and access to finance. We have the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, which seeks to promote a conducive business environment in Kenya by advocating for policies and initiatives that support private sector growth and development. The organization runs several initiatives and programs aimed at supporting entrepreneurs and promoting entrepreneurship as a driver of economic growth and development. These initiatives include the KEPSA Foundation, which promotes training and mentorship to young entrepreneurs, and the Women Business Program. We have the Women Enterprise Fund, which was established in 2007 to provide affordable loans, grants, and business development services to women entrepreneurs in Kenya. This fund aims at to empower economically and increase participation in entrepreneurship, as we've seen earlier, as demonstrated by my previous panelist. We have the Uwezo Fund, which was established to provide affordable loans, grants, and business development services to youth and women entrepreneurs in Kenya. This fund aims to support innovative business ideas and create employment opportunities to young people and women. Kenya is also a partner in regional initiatives on entrepreneurship and digital technology. Some of them include the Kenya Africa Development Bank, which supports entrepreneurship and small business development in Africa, and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which promotes entrepreneurship and innovation as drivers of economic growth and development. We also are part of the Africa Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative, a business development program that provides women entrepreneurs from across Africa with training and support in partnership, leadership, and business management. Last but not least, we are also part of the Digital Africa Women. Our platform is a network that brings women together, entrepreneurs and professionals from across Africa who share knowledge, resources, and opportunities. By leveraging the power of digital technology, these initiatives are helping to break the traditional barriers and create new opportunities for women entrepreneurs to succeed and thrive in business. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sakere. I think when we go to the plenary and we have 2 minutes, it would be good for you to tell the story of your organization and what you are doing with the women at the grassroots. Allow me to have our last panelist. Thank you so much because we have remained attentive. I know it is in the afternoon. We have Ms. Gloria Dekay, who is the Executive Director of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance Foundation. she is currently and she has over 28 valuable experiences working for women's socioeconomic and political empowerment programs in Kenya. Has been doing that for 28 years plus. She mobilizes women for sustainable livelihood initiatives, economic opportunities in Kenya, and she has been at the forefront of ensuring the private sector is on board with gender matters. Gloria worked previously for the UN and the ILO for over 9 years, during which she coordinated the ILO Kenya Women's Empowerment Program. Welcome so much, Gloria. Kindly give us your remarks and observe the time.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. On behalf of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA Industry and KEPSA Foundation, I would like to thank the government of Kenya, led by the head of delegation, Her Excellency Honorable Madam Aisha Juma, and her office for facilitating this side event on women economic empowerment. Madam Chair, in the interest of time, I will go to the three programs that Kenya Private Sector Foundation has been facilitating in the utilization of technology for both men and women. During the COVID-19 era, KEPSA SME, we had the KEPSA SME COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Program. At the lockdown, KEPSA, in collaboration with UNICEF, crafted messages of hope in 5 vernacular languages, which were aired through the local radios. These messages aimed at asking women not to forget their health visits to hospitals. They reminded women of infant nutrition, and they also requested the women to overcome fear and visit hospitals for vaccine. We all know that during the West Africa pandemic, many children and women died not because of the pandemic, the Ebola pandemic, but it was because of fear of not going to the clinics. At the same era of COVID, KEPSA and the MasterCard Foundation entered into a partnership which had the name of supporting SMEs, where majority were women whose businesses were affected by COVID-19 pandemic due to the prevailing market disruptions. The program was implemented from July 2020 to December 2021 and targeted women and youth-led businesses aiming to preserve jobs and businesses. The loan application was done electronically and ran for 4 months from October 2020 to January 2021. 710 loan applications were received, while 106 businesses located across the whole country benefited from the loan financing, which amounted to 42 million. 78% of the loan beneficiaries were female and 22 were male. 32% were youth below 35 years and 65 were female adults above 35 years old. The feedback obtained from the loan beneficiaries through call visits and service and testimonials indicated that the financing helped the business build resilience through the COVID-19 pandemic. KEPSA has been empowering women through the digital and digitally enabled jobs. It has played an instrumental role in coordinating activities and mobilizing resources towards socio-economic transformation of Kenya through the Ajira Digital Program. The Ajira Digital Project seeks to position Kenya as a choice for labor destination for multinational companies, as well as encourage local companies and the public sector to create digital work. The overall objective of the project was to make Kenya a freelance hub and global destination for online work. As of June 2022, 1.9 million Kenyans were digital and digitally enabled workers and were aware of the gig economy. Currently, a total of 887 women have been linked to digital and digital enhanced enabled jobs and are full-time workers in the digital economy, or 491,000 of the women are part-time workers. Out of that, 969,000 of the women in Kenya are also aware of the gig economy. We also have the e-commerce booster program. The program had 3 components, largely onboarding SMEs into existing digital platforms, overseeing in-market platforms, and strengthening the digital marketing capabilities of SMEs. As part of the program achievements, 2,605 SMEs were trained in 6 months on digital marketing and onboarded into various e-commerce platforms. A web portal is now available where businesses can register and learn how to navigate and market their products. In the interest of time, I would just say that Women Entrepreneurs Associations are also being trained in cloud solutions that will allow users to access the same applications and services from multiple devices and locations. In conclusion, KEPSA Foundation continues to amplify its voice to ensure women's participation in leadership and in business, which will be mainstreamed not only in the private sector but in the public sector, which has been demonstrated by the long-term very good working relationships we have had with the Ministry of Gender. I thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable panelists. Thank you so much, Ms. Gloria. I have been seeing Justice Lesitias. I've been tempted to use this, but I know she uses it in the Court of Appeal, so I don't want to be sharp, but I'm not even sure what it means. So thank you so much for those insightful presentations. We've had so much. We've had about the interventions that are globally coming from the Global Fund for Widows, especially on widows. We've had about how we are impacting the rural women directly through the initiatives around feeding. We've had the great lessons on web from Gambia and the parallels that we have drawn. We got the legislative overview of how we are handling women economic empowerment in Kenya. We got our digital overview from Gloria, and Honorable Sankere also provided more of the policy. And last but not least, we also heard from Uganda and how they are moving the gender sector towards digitization from records to access and to incubation. So thank you so much, and thank you for your kind attention. I wish to open it up now for your discussion, honorable delegates. Please keep your question targeted, short and sweet, so that we have many of us participating. I'll take the first round of 4. Yes, ma'am. The lady there, number 2. Anyone noted? Okay, 3 there. 1 more from the back. Anyone? Okay, that's 4. So in that order, please. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you very much, Madam Chair, and our esteemed panelists.
Thank you, Susan.
We have seated on the panel Heather Ibrahim Leathers, that famously said, do not give a widow or a woman fish, do not even just teach her how to fish, but teach her to own the whole lake that has the fish. My question today is, we are addressing the topic accelerating women entrepreneurship and overcoming traditional barriers. I hear from our panelists that when women are given loans, that there is a high repayment compliance. And for me, part of accelerating means moving from micro to macro loans. We want our women to access finance in a way that they own the lake, they own the land, they own the industries, they own the oil fields. Time has come for us to overcome the traditional barriers that inhibit them from taking the lead economically. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I want to thank all the very brilliant panelists and presenters. And I think I have enough take home. But I noticed one thing that we did not address ourselves to from all the panelists. Where in the discussion are the older persons who are women? because these are battling with succession when they are widowed. These are battling with health. They need to talk to their doctors themselves, not through you, their daughter, not through you, their son. They need to talk to their doctors themselves and express what they feel. But they have to use their daughter's phone to talk to the doctor when the daughter is standing there. I think they need that kind of privacy, and they need telemedicine, because COVID has taught us that there is a time when we can be locked down, but the older persons still will need to talk to their doctor and get some medicine or tele-advice on their health. They are disconnected from social networks.
Thank you, thank you.
And allow me to finish that violences and violations which are occur to them, even when they are battling with orphans and vulnerable children. And so, I would like to know, where is the outfit for the older persons who are women on this digitalization?
Thank you very much. There was a third person. Again,
Hello. Thank you very much. My name is Ms. Caroline Young from Cameroon, and I work with Reach Out Cameroon. My question will go to the presenter on widowhood. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what the project was. I was extremely elated to have listened to that particular presentation, because it ties with a program we have at Reach Out called Keep a Girl Alive, so just for younger girls. And particularly, I'm excited to want to know what is best practice from the widowhood program in Kenya. What would you like to share as the criteria for selection of these widows? Because I understand it does not only suffice to say you're a widow for you to qualify for this program. So what is your selection criteria? Thank you.
Thank you. Keep your question to 30 seconds. There was yeah. Press again.
No. Can you hear me?
No, yet. Again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The first woman who asked the question actually hit the question that I wanted to ask right on the head. Beyond beading, beyond weaving, beyond women working with their fingers to the bone, what are we doing in terms of increasing their capacity? I'm a Kenyan, and I'm here in capacity of Garden of Hope in Kibra. And we are partnering with various agencies, but we want to go beyond the beads, beyond the Ushanga. I take my American colleagues to Kenya and I see Maasai and Samburu women fighting with tourists to sell their beads. So could somebody please address the information gap in terms of their knowledge of how they can sell beyond the one string of beads? That's really my question.
Thank you for that. Before we go to the next round of questions, I want to make sure we balance both questions and responses. I will give 30 seconds responses by our panelists. I'm going to give Ms. Fatou to address, I think, the first and the last question together.